y'all, Stormy here from Plant-Based Storm. I'm super excited to share this recipe with y'all. I made this the other night and it was so good, so creamy and delicious that I had to share this on my channel. My family loved it. My son asked for seconds and ate up every single bite. So it was kid approved, and I hope that this is going to be something that you are going to love. It is easy, fast, plant-based. It can be changed to meet your caloric needs. So what are we waiting for? Let's get cooking. First thing that I want to do is I have one onion here, and I'm going to show you a hack using the Vitamix, and I really like this hack because it makes it super easy and things go a lot faster. So I'm going to drop these right into the Vitamix. That was one onion, and then this is about 6 ribs of celery, and I have already pre-cleaned these, and I'm just going to drop them right in there. And I also kind of chopped them in half. You don't have to do this in a Vitamix if you don't have one. I really think that this method works just fine in other mixers. And if you don't want to do this method, you can also chop it up by hand. But what I'm going to do now, after I've got the veggies in here, so that was 1 onion, 3 carrots, 6 ribs of celery, and I'm putting in 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to fill this up with water and just enough to cover the veggies, and then we're going to do a water chop. You can adjust the amounts of the vegetables that you want to use to your taste. I have just got this packed with veggies so that the calorie density is lower, so it's your choice. You're just going to put the lid on and, like I said, fill it up just enough to cover the vegetables, and then you are going to pulse this about 5 or 6 times until the vegetables are nice and chopped, but not like super fine. And as you can see, it looks like a vegetable broth. The liquid actually looks like really like you've cooked a vegetable broth. I've got just a plain bowl here with a strainer, and I'm going to pour the veggies that we just chopped into the strainer. It's probably going to fill this little thing up. And it did. Just pull these out and let this drain a bit. I've got my Instant Pot here ready and hot on the saute function. Now, you don't have to use an Instant Pot. You don't have to have any of this equipment to make this recipe. This is just showing you a really fast, quick, and easy way to do this. So I'm going to put the veggies in here and let them saute. Like I said, it was already hot. I had it ready to go. And I'm going to leave this right here because we're going to use it in a little bit. And we will also reserve the liquid because we'll be using that too. Let this saute, adding in some black pepper to taste. And at this point, we're going to add in some garlic and onion powder as well. Do this to taste, maybe like a teaspoon or so. It's cooking up in there, looking delicious, softening up, and it's going to make such a wonderful soup with lots of flavor because of these aromatic veggies that we are cooking up. These have softened up pretty nicely, so I'm going to take them out. We're going to set this aside to use it later. Take that vegetable broth that we had, these 6 russet potatoes right into here in that broth, and let it cook until they are fork tender, and then move on. And in the meantime, I'm going to be getting our cream ready. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about how you can change the recipe up for your needs. That this is where you can really play with the calorie density. Not only does all of the chopped up veggies that we're adding into it help keep the calorie density low, I'm making a cashew milk to go in that, and I'll show you how we're going to make that in just a minute. And that's going to add for a little bit of fat, and it's going to add a lot of creaminess to this dish, and it's going to make it extra special and delicious. But you do not have to use the nuts if you don't like that, or if you're allergic. You can use a cauliflower puree and pour that in there, and it makes it creamy, and it keeps the calorie density super low, and you can't even tell that you've got cauliflower in there, and it's super creamy and delicious. Other things that you can do is use a lower fat plant milk, whatever kind you like, whether that is oat milk, or you can make your own oat milk. There's several different things that you can do like that in order to bring the calorie density down. Definitely it would be cashews, oat milk, and cauliflower in that order for calorie density. So just keep that in mind. And I'm also going to be adding a date for a touch of sweetness. In order to make the cream sauce, I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of cashews, 1 medjool date, and a cup and 1/4 of filtered water. Pop the lid on and let it blend. Creamy and delicious. Now that the potatoes are nice and fork tender, I'm going to once again drain this out. And I've actually took out a cup of the veggies and set this aside. Let's throw in the veggies. Again, like I said, the cup that we set aside. This is plain homemade oat flour that I ground up in the blender. You can use any type of flour that you want to. We're adding 6 tablespoons in here, and we're going to let that cook for just a minute to get the raw flavor cooked off of it, and then we're going to add our liquid into it. Like I said, any kind of flour you want to. This is just regular oat flour that I ground up. We're going to cook this around and let the raw flavor get cooked off. This is going to add a nice thickness to your soup without adding a lot of calories, and a nice creaminess as well. The cashew milk, and I'm going to put in 1 cup of that. This around, get it good and thick, get all of that flour mixed in there with it. And then once you get all of that nice and creamy, you can start adding in the broth. So I hope that y'all enjoyed that video. I'm fixing to get a bite. It smells so good. My mouth is watering. Look how creamy this is. Whole food, plant-based. This is a must try. So if you're interested in the written recipe, I'm gonna leave it on my blog. Put a link in the description box. And as always, thanks so much for watching.